Today, we are strapping in for a deep dive into a place that feels less like a country and more like a planet that's still being formed. We're talking about the south coast of Iceland.
Hmm.
This is the ultimate crucible, really. A
Yeah.
corridor where these immense geological forces, you have fire, ice, and just relentless water, they all collide, and they offer you some of the most dramatic natural wonders on Earth.
It is the very definition of raw geology, and that's what makes this deep dive so rich. Our mission for you is, well, it's a curated journey. We're heading along Iceland's famous ring road, Route 1,
Okay.
and we're going to dissect the major sites, the waterfalls, the glaciers, all of it. But more importantly, we want you to understand the science that powers them and the incredible folklore that gives this unstable landscape a voice.
So it's about the contrast.
Exactly. The raw power of the volcanoes versus the serene but incredibly fragile beauty of the landscapes they create.
Okay, let's unpack this. Our journey starts just outside Reykjavik. And the change from city to wilderness is, it's immediate. You're almost instantly climbing onto the Hillashady Plateau. It's this lava plateau, about 380 meters high, and it just sets the tone right away.
It's the launch pad for understanding Iceland's self-sufficiency, really. That whole area is dominated by the Hengol volcanic system. And that massive heat reserve is why the Hellashady power plant is so important.
The largest of its kind in the world, right?
The largest single-site geothermal station globally. It's tapping right into the power of the volcano for sustainability.
And when you say significant, we're talking about a massive statement of energy independence.
A huge one. It harnesses over 300 megawatts of thermal energy. That's enough power and hot water for South and West Iceland, including a huge part of Reykjavik. But it's not just about what they take from the volcano, it's what they do to offset things.
And that gets us to that critical climate solution you can see right there in the exhibition, the Carbfix room.
CarbFix is a total game changer. Most carbon capture is about burying CO2 as a gas, which has risks. But in Iceland, they pioneered this revolutionary technique. They dissolve captured carbon dioxide in water, and then they pump it down into the basalt rock.
Wait, so they are turning carbon emissions into actual rock?
Precisely. Through natural chemical reactions, the CO2 mineralizes. It turns into stable, inert stone in about 2 years.
Wow.
They're using the very same volcanic geology that creates the heat to create a permanent carbon storage solution. It's raw geology at its most sophisticated.
So that's the fire covered. But where you have massive ice, you get massive water.
Right.
And the shift from invisible steam power to these monumental waterfalls is so immediate on this coast.
It is. We're moving towards cascades that are plunging over what used to be the prehistoric coastline.
Because the sea level was much higher.
Far higher.
Yeah.
And when the land rebounded and the water receded, it left these immense vertical cliffs. Today, they just catch all that glacial meltwater.
And our first stop is Seljalandsfoss, plunging 60 meters. But its real fame comes from the path, right? The one that lets you walk all the way around behind the water.
It's a rare 360-degree perspective. If you go, waterproofs are not optional. That mist isn't just mist, it's glacial meltwater vapor.
And the sources.
The source is the infamous Eyjafjallajökull.
The volcano that shut down European air travel in 2010.
That's the one. You're literally standing in the runoff from a piece of geological history.
And right next to it, just a few minutes away, is Gljufrabuí. Why is this one still sort of a secret?
Because it demands a little effort. It's a 5-minute walk, but it's hidden inside this narrow, mossy canyon. You actually have to wade through a shallow stream to get inside this chamber.
So it's more intimate.
Totally.
Yeah.
Seljalandsfoss is open grandeur. Gljufrabuí is a secret embrace.
Which sets the stage perfectly for the mighty Skogafoss. We've gone from intimate to just immense. This thing is a powerhouse.
60 meters high and 25 meters wide, the volume is palpable. And the spray is so thick that if there's any sun, you're practically guaranteed a rainbow.
And that scale is why it has one of Iceland's most enduring legends attached to it.
Yeah. This is where we meet Arasi Forlsson, a Viking settler from around 900 AD.
Okay.
The legend says he hid a massive chest filled with gold behind the waterfall before he died.
And there's a real physical piece of this story, which I love. Tell us about the attempt to get it back.
So, around the year 1600, 3 local men decided to claim the treasure. They found the chest, hooked a metal ring on its side, and started pulling. They strained and pulled, but just as they were dragging it out, the ring snapped off, and the chest vanished back into the water forever.
No way.
But the incredible part is the ring. The actual metal ring they supposedly tore off is on display today at the Skoger Folk Museum.
So you can see it. It's a physical link to a millennium-old Viking story.
It is. It's a perfect blend of myth and museum piece.
Okay, but before we hit the ice, let's talk about Foss. It's right next to the tourist hub of Skogafoss, but it's so much quieter. Why?
Access. Foss is this beautiful 30-meter fall in a stunning gorge. And like Seljalandsfoss, you can walk behind it, but the trail requires you to cross a little metal ladder over private land.
Ah, so that little obstacle filters out the big crowds.
Exactly. The big tour buses can't manage it, and it's tough for anyone with mobility issues. It rewards you with solitude. You kind of earn the quiet at Foss.
Okay, we've covered the power harnessed and unleashed. Now we get to the real elemental collision. We're shifting focus to the glacial core of the South Coast, to Solheimajökull Glacier.
Solheimajökull is this massive visible outlet of the Mýrdalsjökull ice cap. And when you walk on it with a guide, you see these deep blue crevasses, jagged ridges, and the ice is streaked black with volcanic ash.
The legacy of past eruptions layered right into the ice.
And you can see global change happening in real time here.
How fast is the change?
Incredibly fast. Solheimajökull has been retreating dramatically. We're talking tens of meters every single year. The ice you walk on today will not be there in a decade. A guided tour isn't just an adventure, it's a stark encounter with climate change.
And hiding beneath all that melting ice is the geological monster we call Katla.
Katla is one of Iceland's most famous, most active, and most closely monitored volcanoes. It's huge. The caldera is 10 kilometers across, all hidden under the Mýrdalsjökull ice cap.
So why is a subglacial volcano so much more dangerous?
It's the catastrophic interaction of magma and ice. When that incredibly hot magma hits the ice, it flashes meltwater into explosive steam.
And that creates the ash clouds.
Huge ash clouds. But crucially, all that meltwater collects and is then released in minutes as these massive glacial outburst floods. The Icelanders call them jökullaups.
And how destructive are we talking?
Unbelievable forces. A wall of water, ice chunks the size of cars, and sediment moving at incredible speed. Katla erupts every 40 to 80 years, but the last major one was back in 1918.
Over a century ago.
Exactly. And that flood, its peak water flow, was estimated to rival the Amazon River.
That's hard to even imagine.
It carried so much sediment and debris that it literally extended Iceland's southern coastline by 5 kilometers. The ground you're standing on in that area is new land, created in a single event.
And of course, a volcano like that has its own terrifying origin story.
A witch, Katla. The tale says she was a housekeeper at a monastery who had these magical breeches that let her run supernaturally fast.
Okay.
When a shepherd borrowed them, she murdered him and hid his body in a vat of whey. Fearing discovery, she put on the breeches, fled, and threw herself into a canyon near the glacier.
And that triggered the eruption.
That supposedly triggered the cataclysmic eruption, and the volcano was named after her. It's a powerful myth about wrath and consequence.
From the destruction of fire and ice, we get to the coastline they created. We're heading to Reynisfjara Black Sand Beach.
Probably the most famous black sand beach in the world. And the sand is pulverized lava. It's so striking because of 3 iconic features.
First, you have the Reynisdrangar sea stacks. These huge pillars rising up to 66 meters out of the ocean.
And according to folklore, those are petrified trolls.
Of course they are.
They were caught by the dawn trying to drag a ship to shore and were frozen into stone.
Then you have the Gardar Cliff, made of those hexagonal basalt columns. It looks like a giant church organ. And third, the sea cave, Hálsanefsjöllur.
It's all breathtaking, but this place is also extremely dangerous. And we have to talk about the water.
It's the physics of the open ocean, isn't it?
Precisely. We have to talk about sneaker waves. They aren't just big waves. They are unpredictable, unusually forceful waves that surge way up the beach 20, 30 meters with no warning.
Why there, specifically?
Because there is no significant landmass between Reynisfjara and Antarctica. The waves have thousands of kilometers to build up this incredible energy.
So the safety warning isn't just a suggestion.
There's an absolute rule. The one thing you must remember there is to never turn your back on the ocean. The Atlantic is completely unforgiving.
And just a short drive away, you get a completely different perspective from the Dyrole Peninsula.
Dyrole means Doorhole Island, which is a perfect name for its massive natural arch. It's 120 meters up, and it gives you these breathtaking 360-degree views. You see the whole black sand coastline, the Reynisdrangar stacks, and the Mýrdalsjökull Glacier looming behind it all.
It's also a big spot for puffins.
A huge nesting site for them, from about mid-May to mid-August.
Which brings us to our final stop on this journey, Vík í Mýrdal. Iceland's southernmost village, population around 300, it feels like a refuge.
It is a refuge, but one that exists under the constant shadow of Katla. Vik is so vulnerable to a Jökulhlaup, and the people live with this organized vigilance. You can see it embodied in the Víkurkirkja church.
The iconic white church with the red roof up on the hill.
Right. It's not just picturesque. It's the official emergency evacuation point for the whole village.
Because its elevation is believed to be safe.
The one spot believed to be safe from even the worst flood. And residents are trained to get to that church within 15 minutes of an alarm. It's a community built on the edge, relying on science and preparation to survive.
That brings us to the end of this deep dive. We've seen this incredible duality from geothermal energy powering the capital to 60-meter waterfalls to black sand beaches under constant assault from the ocean.
The South Coast is just this profound demonstration of the ultimate geological cycle. Destruction, the eruptions, the floods, and the creation it enables. New land, sustainable energy, these unforgettable landscapes. It's a geography defined by always being in flux.
So what does this all mean?
Well, you've stood on a coastline that grew by 5 kilometers in one event. You've seen a glacier retreating so fast the ground beneath it is visibly changing.
So if the land under your feet is always being created and destroyed and then recreated by fire and ice, what does a word like ancient even mean when you're standing on the south coast of Iceland?
It forces you to rethink permanence entirely.